So management is the art of getting things done through and with the people in a organized group. The normal data which is not organized or raw data will not help you much in analyzing anything and coming up to a decision. Set of elements that are joined together to achieve a common objective. Welcome to the second session of the MIS. In this second session, I am going to explain mainly about what are the different functions of information system. Alright, let's start with the session. Now, in the last session, I just told you about various definitions of the MIS. Why do you need MIS? What are the importance of the MIS? Let's just revise with a proper definition and the need of the MIS. In definition, the management information system can be defined as a system consisting of people, machine, procedures, database, and data models. Why do we need all these things? And we consider these as the elements. MIS is a system consisting of people, machine, procedure, database, and data models as its element, which gather. Why do you need all these elements in MIS? Is to gather the data from internal and external sources of organization. About internal and external sources of organization, I told you in the last session, isn't it? So you can collect the data or gather the information from the various internal and external sources of the organization. Okay. What is the meaning of the term MIS? Okay. This is an acronym for 3 words, that is management, information, and system. Why do you use these 3 terms, management, information, system? Is in order to fully understand what you want to understand. The term MIS, if you want to know the term MIS, you have to understand these 3 words that I have explained in the last session. Just revise few things in this. Okay. When it comes to the first term, management, it can be defined as the art of getting things done. It must be the person who is a manager. Manager is not going to do everything by himself. Manager must have capability to make others work, isn't it? So management is the art of getting things done through and with the people in a organized group. If management is the capacity to make the work done by the people who are involved in the organization. The information and system. Information is a structured collection of the data, and the system is the proper structure through which the work is done is called a system. So it comprises of the management information system. The next thing that you want to know in MIS is the managerial functions. What are the functions of a manager or the functions that are done in an MIS? Alright. The first thing is to plan. It is a responsibility of the manager to make a proper plan for anything. Not only gathering of the information, for every task you need to have a proper planning, is it not? The first step in the functions of the MIS or managerial function is to plan, to have a proper plan. Alright. The next thing is organizing. The plan is how do you collect the data and how do you use that data for some application, or how do you analyze those collected data. Along with that, when you have a proper plan of all these things, the first step in MIS is to manage anything or to develop a system, and to manage the system, you need to have the information. Where do you get the information? Is it readily available to us? It comes to us by itself, automatically it comes to us, information. It will not come to us automatically. What we have to do? We have to organize the data. How do you gather the data and how do you organize those data in a proper format? That is the another function of the MIS. Along with the proper planning, you need to have a structure to organize the data or the information. Next thing is staffing. What is staffing? Is recruiting the people for a particular position, the eligible candidate for a particular position or proper position, which is called as the staffing. You need the eligible candidates who can arrange. When you have arranged how to, the candidate must know how to organize and manage the data. That means the third function is staffing. Once you collect the data, next is you need to have someone who can manage those data, isn't it? Information. For that, you need the staffs. Recruiting the staff is the process of staffing. Next is directing. Once the staff has been recruited, the next thing is you have to train them. You have to direct them how to collect the information and how to manage those information, isn't it? If you are having a bank person, what does the bank will do? Once the recruitment is done, it will not directly let them to sit on the position, sit on their chair and start their working. What does they do is, they'll give you a proper training, isn't it? What is your role and what you have to do in the job, in your task, what are your responsibilities, how to collect the information, how to manage the information. All those tasks will be directed by one who is already skilled. They'll direct you how do you collect the data and how to manage them, which is the function of direction or directing. Once all these tasks are done, the last step is to control. Whatever you do, you need to have a proper control over the data as well as the person who is going to handle that data, isn't it? Otherwise, the proper functioning of the information system or the entire organization will not be possible if nobody is there to control the work of the organization. Alright, the last step is controlling the data or the information along with the individuals who are going to store and handle those data. Alright, this is about the functions of the management or managerial function in an MIS. The next is to know about the management hierarchy of the MIS. What management sits in the top, what are the management that comes in the middle, and next who comes in the last level of management. Now we have 3 levels of management hierarchy. What are those management hierarchy we have is, in the top position we have strategic management, that is the top management. What is strategic management is, you need some persons or someone who can decide a strategy, who can fix a strategy for the organization. How you are going to plan the business, how you are going to improve the business. What is the plan for this current financial year? What must be the profit? How to get the profit from the business? How to expand the business? All these things will be decided by the strategic management or the top level management, like maybe chairmen, members of the board, all those comprises of the top level management who decide on the strategy of the business. What must be the strategy for long run and for shorter duration? Long run is for 10 years, 15 years until the business is running. What must be the strategy the business must follow? And the short one is the strategy for 1 year or for 6 months or for a quarter, 3 months. So that means the decision makers or the decision takers are the strategic management level. It contains the top level management. Why it is shown as triangle is they have the responsibility, but the work is less, but decision making capability is more. They have more responsibility than other two managements. As you go on higher in the work position, your work reduces, but responsibility increases. So the top management has most high level responsibility, but they work less. What is their duty is to make others work who are below in their level. They have to make them work, others. Once the strategy is decided, the next level of management is the control management or management control, middle management. The middle management is like an intermediary between the top level management and the operational control. These are the one who control the task of the next level or bottom level management. They will be intermediary between getting the strategies done by the bottom level management and other normal employees. They'll decide the strategy. That strategy will be implemented by these levels, whereas some strategy will be implemented by this middle level management and some strategy will be the responsibility of the bottom level management. The middle management has to look that bottom management is handling their responsibility properly. Okay, this is an intermediary. They will be having more work than the top level, but little bit less responsibility. Okay, when you come to the work, okay, work to be done is more in the management level. When it comes to responsibility, it will increase with the levels of the management, whereas work decreases with the level of the management. The last in the management hierarchy is the operational control management. So this operational control management or the bottom level management is responsible for making the normal employees to do their work to fulfill the strategies, policies and standards of the top level management. So they have 3 levels of management: top level, middle level and the bottom level management. They are not doing actual work, they are making others to work. Alright, this is comprises MIS must take care even the level of management. Why do they need the level of management? MIS is to decide or set the priority for the management level. How much data they can access, how much data they can process. All these priorities will be set based on at what level of management a person is going to sit. Based on that, priority to access and analyze the data will be set. So management we have seen management, what are the managerial functions and hierarchy in the management. Now let's move on to the next term, that is information. What does the information tells you is, it is a data, information is a data that is processed and is presented in a particular form. It has a format which assists in decision making of the management. Okay. It may contain an element of surprise. It may have the data that are new to the management level only. They don't know that this kind of data is there. Reduce the uncertainty. The concepts will be cleared. The data collected or gathered will clear some of the ambiguous concepts that the management has thought that it is not clear. The uncertainty will be reduced because of the information, or provoke a manager to initiate an action based on the information, and it can help in taking a decision. The data in the information can take the form of historical records. Usually it will be the records which are already done, which are history, and those records will be stored in the system. In contrast to the information, how does the data differ from information is, raw data may not be able, it will not be able to have more capability. The capability of the data is less when compared to the information. May not be organized. The data that you have collected may not be well organized, and it doesn't help in anything to our knowledge. It won't help you in getting any extra knowledge about the happenings in the organization, what is happening in the organization. So you can get the look of and functioning of the organization by looking at the collected information only. Like if you have the biometric information, biometric system, you can get the information about the work ethics or working pattern of the employees, whether they are coming in time, they are going at the correct time or earlier than the finishing time, or they are working for extra hours, what is their efficiency, how efficiently they have worked in this financial year, whether they should get an increment or what. All these things will be decided only looking by the data that are collected to the biometric and the work done by the employees, isn't it? So this means the normal data which is not organized or raw data will not help you much in analyzing anything and coming to a decision, whereas the information gives you a proper format of collection of data and helps you in taking a particular decision. All right. The next thing is to know about the system. What does the system will do? The term system is the most underestimated or underused word that are used in the management literature because of its use in different contexts. The term system is used in so many contexts, like you'll be having a particular system in work, or generally computers are also considered as system, or general system you can consider. Outside the society is also a system. So we use the term system in so many contexts that the proper importance of system has been lost in our subject, that is management information system. Okay. The system may be defined as set of elements. System is a set of elements which are joined together. We have the set of elements which are joined together to achieve a common objective. System is set of elements which are properly organized into a common objective. Whenever you say it is systematic, we know about the meaning. Systematic. What is meaning system? You need to have a systematic manner. You need to behave properly. You need to behave systematically. Your table must be arranged systematically. We use the term system so many times in our daily life. But if someone asks, what is the meaning of a system? We don't know how to describe it. We use system in general life, but we don't know how to if somebody asks you, what is a system? We don't know the proper definition. What is a system? But we don't know how the system must be, isn't it? So we know the meaning, but we can't express the meaning of the word system, isn't it? So if the definition, what is the definition of the system is? Set of elements that are joined together to achieve a common objective. Okay? If you take a computer system, what is their objective? You have monitor, you have keyboard, you have mouse, you have CPU, you may have printer, you may have scanner, you may have digital camera connected to it, or maybe photographic camera connected to it, or you may have some gaming work or gaming consoles connected to the computer. All these things together make a system, isn't it? Will you sit in front of the system? Are you using system? Here system can be defined as the set of elements. What are the elements are? Monitor, keyboard, mouse, CPU, all these are elements which work together. They combine or they work in cooperation with each other. None can work without the help of the other, isn't it? Monitor cannot work without the help of the CPU. CPU cannot work with the help of the keyboard, isn't it? If you have CPU, you cannot work with the computers. What you need? You need something to give the data to the CPU. And if you don't have monitor, even though CPU performs, you cannot view the result, isn't it? So that is why set of elements to achieve a common objective, to make the system work, to make the computer work, and to give you some information. When whatever you have entered, based on that, it will give you information. It is the common objective of the entire system. So you have set of elements. The elements are interrelated. These elements are interrelated and interdependent. They can't survive or work without the other. If you take banking as a system, or college as a system, or an office, government office as a system, everyone in the organization are interrelated and interdependent on each other, is it not? So if you take the example of a college as a system, college, the components, what are the set of elements? In a college is the teachers, the students, the management, and the components which help you in working, like tables, chairs, blackboards, classrooms, laboratories. These are set of elements, isn't it? So which are interrelated together, or which are joined together to achieve a common objective. What is the common objective is? To make the students get a degree or a graduation. It is the common objective, isn't it? They are interrelated. Students cannot learn or cannot stay in college without the lecturers. Lecturers cannot have a work without the students. Lecturers and students cannot survive without the help of a building or a classroom, isn't it? The system need to have a proper set of elements which are interrelated and interdependent, isn't it? The next thing is the set of elements for a system may be understood as input. You are providing the input, you are going to process it, and you are going to get the output. This is the language of a information technology, where you will get an input, you are giving some data to the system or to the computer, you are going to process these data and produce the output. The next thing is the system has one or multiple inputs. It is not compulsory that input must come from only one element, isn't it? We are combining the task of mouse and keyboard together to give the input to the computer. These inputs are processed. From whatever component you give the input, the CPU is going to accept and process it through a transformation process. The CPU is going to work, processor is going to work to transform your input into the output, to convert these input into outputs. So you have to give the input to get the output, isn't it? Suppose your bank account has 50,000 rupees. What you need to input is, if you want to you want to withdraw some money, what you have to input is how much amount you want to withdraw. Suppose I withdraw 5,000. I'll give the input 5,000. So what does the CPU will do is, it will look into your balance 50,000. The withdrawal amount what you have given input is 5,000. So what it will process is, it will subtract 5,000 from 50,000. What are the outputs is, balance is 45,000 and the command is given to the ATM machine to count 5,000 rupees by maybe 500 note, 2,000 note, based on the availability of the notes. How much you need? 5,000, 2,000, 2 notes of 2,000 and 2 notes of 500 will be given as an output. What is the output is? New balance of the account, that is 45,000 rupees, and another output is the money from the ATM machine, isn't it? So these inputs will be transformed to output. The 3 elements of a system are the input, which provides the data to process. The processed data will be produced as an output and is given to the user of the system. So this is about the management information system. The next thing what you need to know is, what are the functions of the MIS? Why do you need, or what are the basic things that MIS is going to do? Okay, one of the most widely used bases for organizing activities in almost every organization is the business function. So business is the main thing in any organization. That means business means give some input or have some investment and get the profit, isn't it? So business activities are grouped around the functions they are going to do. Business activities. If you are having industry, how do you organize? Whether you are having the functions, it will be having various functions. If you take the example of a bank, you will be having various functions like depositing in a SB account, savings bank account, deposit in a current bank account, joining the account, joint account, the fixed deposits, recurring deposits, loan. In loan also we have the categories: personal loan, education loan, housing loan, vehicle loan. All these things are the various functions, isn't it? So the business activities are grouped around the functions. Loan, what type of loan you are taking? What are the different categories of loans? What is the percentage of interest they are putting on the loan? Okay, when it will be repaid? What are the EMIs the person has to pay if he is taking a loan? And it comes to deposit, what kind of account he has of deposit, whether it is SB or current or recurring, like that. And what is the interest? Interest for 6 months, interest for 365 days, interest for 10 years, 5 years, like that. And for SB, how much is the interest? All these things are grouped around the functions such as production. If you take the entire industry, you'll be having production, marketing. Once the production is done, you have to market it. Finance. Finance is supporting all these other functions like the production, marketing. All these things need the help of the finance, and personal or HR, human resource departments. All these things are the functions resulting in the respective department. Each function has each department, individual department or an area of the business organization. Each function will have its own department, isn't it? Which categorizes the functions and groups it so that the function can happen smoothly without much complexity. Okay, these departments are commonly known as the functional areas of a business. If you take the business of, say, some toys, what does the toys will need? Or food industry, say sugar factory, sugar industry, what they need is production. For production, raw materials are needed. From where raw materials are coming, all those will be the function. Then marketing, you have to market the product you have produced, isn't it? Without a proper marketing, you will not get the purchasers, will not get the persons to purchase your product, isn't it? So along with suppliers, you need the customers. Who are the customers? Who are going to get your product. So marketing, finance, or all the different functions. Based on the functions, the departments will be fixed. There is no standard classification. You don't have a proper classification which is this. If it is production is there, every industry must have production department. It is not like that. Some of the departments or some of the business will not have a production department. Like if you take an information technology industry, IT industry, you don't have production. You are not producing anything that is touchable, isn't it? So production is nothing but here the product. You don't need a proper marketing. You don't need marketing for every product because there may be fixed client for a particular product. You need not to market because already client is there and he will purchase the product what you have developed because already agreement all have been done and you need not to worry about marketing the product. That means based on what the industry is functioning, based on that departments will be done. That means there is no clear classification of the subsystem. You can't fix that. Every industry must have marketing department. Every industry must have production department. Every department must have suppliers. Every department, every industry must have the customer list. All those things are not mandatory. Okay. But a typical set of functions, it has some industry, group of certain kind of industry will have certain departments, but another kind of business or industry will have a different set of departments, okay, which includes the normal industry departments or functionalities. The MIS can have production, another is the marketing department, finance and accounting related to the transactions that is going to happen over the terms of money. Then materials, what are the raw materials that are going to be received, what are the final materials that must be provided to the customers, the materials and the personal system. Personal system is all related to the employees of the organization, okay, and their details, how much the salary they are getting, what are the work progress of an individual employee, all those things comes under the function of personal system. The MIS must take care of all these functions. All these details will be stored in an MIS. The next thing is the production. We'll discuss each of the function in detail. The first thing is the production. In production, the task in production department or functional group is production planning and controlling. Production planning is from where the raw material must be, suppliers, who are the suppliers, and we have to get the materials at with the high quality and optimal rate, isn't it? So we have to plan the proper production. If you have a demand, how much must be produced in this? In 1 week, how much must be produced? Like if you have a car industry or two-wheeler industry, you have to make the production plan by looking at the figures of the last financial year, how much have been purchased and what was the feedback of the customers, what may be the expectation of this year. Based on that, the plan must be done. How much product must be produced within these 3 months. Sometimes demand may be less, sometimes demand may be more. When the year end comes, the demand may be less. When there is a festival, when there is some special situations, the sale will be more. Based on the situation and time, the production planning must be done. How much product must be produced, and the controlling of the production. Looking at the products have been produced at the stipulated rate. If I am a manager in production department and if I have fixed that 5,000 vehicles will be produced by the end of the June, I have to look at that it is achieving or not, whether it is lagging behind, and controlling the production tasks will be the functionalities in production function. Next thing is setting the engineering standards. How does you combine to form a material? If you take a bike, what are the engine capability? What must be the feature you have to add? New features. If it is a new model, what are the extra features you need to have? What must be the brightness of the light? What must be the capacity of the battery? How does the materials or the packing of the bike, the extra packing of the bike, extra fittings must be given? What must be the mileage of the vehicle? All those things will be set in the engineering standards of the industry. Then the production department must check with the quality. Once the product is over, the quality must be ensured. If the quality is not there, you may discard it or it may be used for some other purpose. Then research and development. You have to research on new models, improving the capability. Whatever may be the industry, there is a scope for improvement, isn't it? So the research and the development team will look into the capability or increasing the capacity and working condition of the current product. That is the function of the production department. Then we have marketing department. What is the functionalities in marketing is taking the order for the sales and analyzing and looking at it, or taking the track of the sales, forecasting what may be the sale in next 3 months or next 6 months or next financial year, analyzing the sales. If the sales has decreased, where was the point which we lagged behind? If the sales was improved, what were the extra actions we have taken to improve that, and what are the situations that helped in increasing the sales? Billing it, how much must be the rate of a product based on the different criterias, how to distribute the products, checking the availability of the stock based on the demand, sales quota control, if sales is reaching the target or not, pricing, deciding the price of the product promotion, like how much must be spent on advertisement, like that. Okay, these are the functions of the marketing department. About the functions of the next departments or other departments, we shall discuss in the next session. All right. Thank you.